What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the FansToys Iceman, their version of Air Raid. So this figure just came out. I got this from Toy Dojo, as you may have seen as the logo up front of the video. I am working with Toy Dojo now just to get some figures. I'm having some issues with shipping from China from my usual guy, Baba Bobo. That doesn't mean I'm not working with him anymore. It's just a lot of the stuff that, like FansToys figures, I'm going to be getting from Toy Dojo. So thank you, Toy Dojo, for getting this out to me very quickly. They're really usually very quick. They're usually one of the first to ship out. Also, I get some pleasure knowing that Henry from Pig for Life Reviews has to wrap this up for me and ship it to me, because that's the way they do it on the East Coast. So that gives me a little bit of enjoyment. So anyway, thank you, Toy Dojo. Also, I wanted to let you know that Pig for Life has already done a review on this, so I'm going to link that video at the end of this one. So if you wanted to go watch Pig's video, you can do that at the end. Okay, so let's get into this. Again, we have very nice artwork from Iohannes. He is known as Welljack on DeviantArt. I'll put a link down in the description below. And on the back of the box, you get some product images. Here he is with Goose. And there's some product shots. I do have a little damage here. Again, I'm blaming Pig for that. I don't know what he did. Might have just been damaged like that, but I blame Pig. So that's really it for the box. You also get, right on top of the box when you open it, this is kind of taped on top. It's a little caution with an S. And it shows you just be careful with this panel. I'm going to lift up first and then fold it over. I didn't really have an issue with that, so I'm not sure why they needed such a big caution. There's some other parts I'll think you need caution. I'll show you those. You also get the instruction manual here, pretty nice instruction manual. There are some steps that are hard to understand or read. You're always better off watching a video, but they usually do really nice color images with close-ups. It's hard to follow compared to a video. And then you get the collector's card here, pretty nice collector's card. There's the back. So that's really it for the packaging. I'm going to show how he comes in packaged, but let's get started with the figure. He looks pretty good. Let's do a quick 360. We'll put the G1 cartoon up there. Really nice head sculpt on this guy. You got some paint detail, yellow detail here. You got some translucent red on his chest on both sides. Got a little yellow and red here on the knees. All white paint across here. All a metallic black on here. We'll see the detail on the tails, the wings and the tail fins later, but right now you can see a little bit poking out there. Nice painted cockpit. We'll look at that more in the jet mode. But there he is. Overall, very, very nice looking robot mode. He's got some nice detail on him. So let's talk about his articulation. So articulation has been kind of the debate and the topic of contention here. So let's get into that. So the head is on a rotating swivel, so you get up to there, you get down to there, you get rotation all the way around. Some people are saying the down isn't very much. That's okay for me, but you can get it up a little bit more if you open up that panel, but that's not really meant to do that. Very nice head sculpt here with the nice sky blue eyes. You get a rotation at the arm. It's off center, so when you rotate it, it goes down a little bit. But rotates up to there on the shoulder. You have a bicep swivel. You have a 90-degree bend at the elbow. Rotation at the wrist. Typical FansToys fingers and hands. Two joints pinned instead of ball joints, which I hate because they always fall off. So I love these hands just like all of the FansToys hands. You get a waist swivel, which is not active or working in this mode. So you can't actually rotate him. I'm going to show you how to get that waist swivel in just a minute. Let me just finish the rest of the articulation. So you have two hip skirts here. You can go all the way up to there on a ratchet. Back to here, hindered by the backpack. Out to there on a friction joint. And need that come out. You get a 90-degree bend at the knee. You get an ankle tilt all the way to there, and you get ankle pivot. By the way, this ankle pivot screw was a little bit loose. I recommend tightening these when you get them out of the box, because if you don't have a tight ankle tilt there, he tends to be back heavy because he's got all this jet on his back, and he tends to lean backwards or even fall backwards. So you really want to have those ankles nice and tight if you're going to be posing him in more dynamic poses, especially because of the weight on the back. And he does pose very nicely. He's really just like Goose. I liked Goose, and I like the articulation on this. It's good enough for me. Some people say he's a little bit limited in articulation. I like it. So let's talk about the waist swivel. So there is a ratcheted waist swivel built in, but you cannot access it due to the way this backpack is transformed, and it's locked in, and it's because of this metal bar right here. So I'm going to show you how to get around that. This is not in the instructions. This is sort of a fan mode. So get this rotated up here and just out of the way, and then get this back out of here. So we're gonna move all this, and it's because these these hinges are so tight, you really have to just give it a little bit more force and you feel comfortable. All right, so take the jet part, and put it as if you're putting it back in jet mode, all the way up here. Now you don't want to put it all the way on because that's gonna go on top of his head, so you just want to get it right up to there, and it will hold there. Okay, and now you're going to take this backpack piece, and that's going to fold all the way forward as far as you can go. It will butt up against the end, so don't go past that. But it has a metal stop there, so you can't go any further than that. Okay, and now we've got to take care of this, so this all has to be flipped the other direction. So open up this wing, and what we're going to do is flip this the other direction. And this is kind of the trick to this whole thing, is getting this all flipped around. So fold this out, and then you're going to flip it the other way. Just be careful, make sure you clear everything. You don't want to break any of these wings here. Okay. Let's see. Fold that around, and then fold this the opposite direction. So normally you're folding it the other way. So in this case, we're going to fold it this way. And if it's not clearing, just make sure you're paying attention to all the tabs that are in there. But you're going to want this inwards, and then this silver part's going to be facing outwards when you're done. So if you have it all right, it'll look something like this. Okay. If you want to, you could flip this little triangular piece to the other side, but it's not going to do much. It's just going to be a annoyance. But you can do that too, just for completeness, to flip them both to the other side. Now you get both silver parts here, but that's not necessary. Okay, so same on this other side. Okay. And now we're going to fold this on top of his backpack. And you really want to get it up high. So you have this piece of the hinge, the biggest part, all the way forward, and it's basically hitting up against the metal, so it can't go any further. And then you have the other part of it making an L like this. Okay, so now you've got it. And then you can fold these wings back flat. And if you want this to kind of stay a little bit better, you can fold these in, and that'll just kind of hit up against his backpack. And then now you've got slightly different transformation, but because we've moved that metal piece out of this slot here, that's what's holding it up from rotating. So now you get a nice waist swivel. It goes all the way around. Before you do that, make sure everything's cleared. If it's, again, hitting, make sure you moved it. I moved it while I was doing it. So that is the waist swivel. So there he is with the FansToys Goose. This is his brother, basically, from the Superion set. And they look really good together. I thought these were going to be a lot closer in terms of their transformation and the parts. There are a lot of parts that are the same, and some of these transformations is very similar, but then there's a lot that's different, and that's going to be really surprising. It was really surprising to me when we got it, and when I show you the transformation, you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's get into accessories here. It comes with two blasters here. They both have handles that fold up for the vehicle mode, and they're typical tab fits into the hand, so I'm not going to show that. I'm just going to get them both in there. With both guns, both look good. They're both painted with that same flecked black metallic plastic, and they both look good. He also comes with alternate face sculpt. Here it is, the yelling open mouth face with the sky blue eyes. This is very easy to install. It's just 2 pegs here. So you pop this one off. The best way to pop it off actually is to lift up here and then get a spudger or something underneath here. Don't use metal, use something plastic, and then pop that off and then put this on. So I'll do that. So here's this alternate face sculpt there with the yelling face. They both look really good. I really have been liking the face sculpts and the paint choices they've been using. It really distinguishes all of these characters. They don't just seem like copies of molds over and over. They're all a little bit unique. Okay, let's get this guy transformed into his jet mode. I'm going to do my best to try to keep everything on camera, but this is a tough transformation to do with the camera sitting in front of you. It's the same as Goose, it's very similar to Goose. There are some differences, but there's a couple parts where it's tough, so I might just finish it off camera, but I'll show you exactly what I'm doing as we go. Okay? So we can probably undo everything we did here with the backpack for the alternate transformation. And again, this is unofficial, but make sure you just straighten that out and get all that, and give you some space to work. Okay? We can take care of this pretty much right away. So flip his head around and get it facing this way. And then you're going to get this up into here. And really, it should just fit over and tab right in without much. There we go. So now you got the fuselage all locked in there. Okay. All right, next we're going to work on the arms, since that's kind of the easier part. And it's also the same as Goose was. So open up these panels. Make sure you have the fist folded up. Fold that in. Very typical Masterpiece style. Open up this panel here. This is again the same as Goose. Make sure you flip this up. On Goose, this was painted under here, so you wanted to be careful. This one's just a plastic, so you don't have to worry too much, but you want to give yourself some clearance. Fold this back downwards, and then close that panel. It should tab in there. And then collapse the arm. All right, same on this side. I'm going to try to shorten this video by cutting out repeat steps. So that's the same, so we're going to cut that out. All right, next we want to get this into the chest. So to do that, fold these up. Open these tabs here. There's a little finger hole there, so you can just grab that finger hold. And that'll open up this entire chest. Rotate the arms back down. Pull outwards, rotate, push outwards, rotate, and push backwards in. So it should sit back flat inside here. Okay, same on this side. If it doesn't clear, then you've got something wrong. And then close this back up, and that tabs away. And that's the chest. Those are all the easy parts. Again, we're going to leave this for a little bit later. All right, so fold these downwards and untab them from here if you haven't already. You can fold these heel spurs in, feet in, and now we'll take care of this leg. So I'm going to do one leg, and then we'll do the other one off camera. So you got to unpeg all of this stuff you did before. Make sure you rotate this out of the way. Okay. Actually, you know what you can do is just rotate that down like that, because that's where it's going to end up being going anyway. Open up the leg. And this is kind of, you got to be careful here. So pull that out so it's loose like that. Pull this panel back. Close that up. And just leave that there for now. And you want to push the leg up like this. And this is a step that Paik kind of taught me, so it helped that he had this first. But fold this down and now close it up. And that'll give you a little bit more clearance to get it folded up. Okay. And make sure you've cleared these hip skirts, because you can scratch those up with the paint. You know, those are painted parts. All right, and once you get that, you can close this back up, and that seals up that side. So same on the other side. There is a peg here on this one that's going to go into here, so that's the only difference, but we're going to do that leg off camera. I've got both legs transformed. These are just sitting loose, and then these are back here because they're going to end up on the back anyway, so just leave them back there. All right, so open up these flaps here. That's going to give you some clearance to put these in. They might close again. You're just going to have to go open up them again. All right, now we're going to get this part all set. So you got to open up, undo everything we did to get this all folded up here. And you might pull it off the peg like that. That's okay. So unfold it, flatten out the wing, then flatten out the tip of the wing here. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side off camera. Okay, so you should have something like this. And we're going to start getting everything into place. So flip this around. Make sure you have all these panels ready to go. Okay. And this is where some of the frustration with this figure comes into play. So these panels have to get in front of this. And that's where there's some troubles. So this whole metal hinge has got to work its way down into that gap there, and you've got to clear these. So do that all at the same time. It is a little tricky and frustrating, but you're going to rotate these panels. You can see that those rotate to the side. I know when I'm losing focus, and you can clear that, right? And as you're pushing that down, you can get these forward of those pieces. And you should be able to get this whole piece backwards. Don't worry about anything else right now. Just worry about getting that cleared. Once you have that cleared, now you've got these in the front. Now, once you get this kind of back here, you want to go the other way. And that's tricky too. So fold the wing down like this. You're going to get it past here. And then get the whole thing kind of pushed in. Same on this side. Get it down and past this. Make sure you have nothing in the way. Make sure you're all clear back here. Maybe you have nothing that's going to break or you know, get pushed. But when you have it all kind of cleared, then you can push this down. Okay. And now it's just a matter of tabbing everything into place. Oh, we should have done this too. So let's do that. So this one, there's a tab here first. So put that tab in first. Then do the one on the bottom right there that goes into the slot. So do that first. That's got to go in, and it does fit in nicely, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to do one side, and then we'll do the other one off camera. So get all this pushed in. Don't worry about these tail fins for now. Just leave them. Actually, leave them like this. Okay. We got to work all these panels into place. And again, it is a little frustrating. So get this pegged in here. And I'll just show you what I'm doing. You got to get that little white tab into there. Okay. Get this pegged in to here. You can see there's a black tab that went in there. All right, so get these tabbed in. And now it's just a matter of just getting everything all flattened up and pegged in. It's very hard to see what you're pegging into. It's all underneath in here. So that's part of the challenge of this transformation. You kind of got to trust that you've got everything lined up because you can't really see what you're doing. But I've found that it does tend to go. Push this back piece down first too. That kind of helps. And I admit this is not. This is probably the harder part of the entire transformation, but you can do it. I believe in you. Okay, so now you're going to take these tail fins. There's two tabs. You're going to go into these holes. So lift that up and poke it in. It doesn't sit like the Make Toys ones, which just sit loose and flop around. These actually peg in and stay. Thank God. I hope FansToys does Seekers, because that'll be nice. And then take this one and just tab that into the bottom here. You can see that tab. Same on this one. And those should fit nicely and be all secure. And then just do a little cleanup. So that's pretty much it. We're going to just clean it up off camera. And here he is all transferred up into his jet mode. And it is a very good looking jet. So let's take a look around. We'll put the G1 cartoon up there so you can take a look. Overall, pretty nice. You got some nice paint details here. Silver, red, and yellow that was kind of hidden in the robot mode. On the side, you do have some robot kibble, and it does kind of show through, but also that's kind of how the show was. You know, they had robots on the bottom of their jets, but not too bad given what this is. You know, pretty good transformation. You do have some nice jet engines here on the back. Overall, pretty nice detail. You do have a cockpit here. There are little places to stick your fingernail, but I find that's pretty hard to get in there, so you can just use a spudger and pop that up. It does kind of move back, and then there's a nice cockpit. There's detail in there. Let me see if I can get in there, show you that detail. So there's that painted yellow, red, and blue. Pretty cool. And just since we have this open, you can put a Dr. Archiville in here. I don't know if there's anything else that fits here. This is the only one I'm going to try. But the Dr. Archiville from the Takara Tomy Seekers does fit in there, and it does close, and it looks good in there. And so that's nice. So if you had something like this, you could put it in there. So overall, very nice jet mode. Let's get take a look at his landing gear. So landing gear, very similar to Goose. Fold up that piece. It's all die cast. Very nice quality on these. You might need a spudger for these. You don't. I mean, you can pretty much do everything with a fingernail. Unfortunately, I just cut my fingernails. I don't really have fingernails. But everything feels nice and tight. Good quality. Nothing feels like it's cheap. Like another company that I looked at recently. I don't want to cause any pain here. So here it is with the landing gear. It does roll. These are all rolling wheels. Oh, this one's kind of tight. Oh, there we go. It was just a little bit locked up. All the wheels roll, and that looks good. It looks really nice on the landing gear. It looks pretty good for a jet, pretty realistic. Let's bring in some other things for comparison. There he is with MP10 and the Masterpiece smokescreen, or Plus version, and it looks good. Obviously not to scale. You know, this jet should be a lot bigger than this semi-truck, but whatever. It's good enough to me. I like it. I'm going to try and get this into its combined mode. There is no instructions, and there is no confirmation that this is even the way to do it. This is a complete guess on my part, so I don't want to show the transformation for this because I don't even know if it's right, honestly, and I don't want to give instructions to do something that might be wrong. So I'm going to transform this into its combined mode off camera, and I'll show you what I think it's supposed to be. But because it's not finalized and it looks like it's changed, honestly, it looks like it's changed from its final form versus what it was when they first showed us the teaser images. So I'm going to get this into combined mode off camera, and we'll be right back. Have him in his combined mode. Now, I don't have any confirmation or instructions to say that this is right, but it is pretty darn close. I'm going to put an image of the reveal that they showed off in TFCon, and you will see, and I'll zoom in on the foot so you can, or the leg, so you can see it, but this is definitely it. There's a tricky part that I don't feel like sharing on the camera because it's scary and it's probably going to lead people to break it, trying to get it into this mode, so I don't want to do it, but this piece has to essentially spin around, right, because it faces that way, and that part does not feel good, so I don't know if it's right. I don't want people breaking their thing trying to do this, so I'm not showing that on camera, but I am 95% confident this is it. So you basically slide the joint onto here. There's ridges here that hold it. This is die cast, so that's going to be nice and strong. And then the feet, the actual foot of the Superion attaches here, here, and here. And that's kind of how it goes. So that's my theory anyway. I think this is it, but again, there's no way to confirm this, but it seems right based on the picture, especially from this angle like that. That kind of matches what's in the pic. So there you have the combined mode. And here we have him back in his robot mode. Final thoughts wise on this guy, I really like him. I think they did a great job. They nailed the aesthetic and the look of the cartoon, but also has got, you know, a little bit of an updated, you know, masterpiece, modern look to him. Here I put him back in the normal configuration here just because this is the way they want to transform it. It looks great with that jet on the back. I mean, it just looks very Chi won, and you know, I love it. I love the way they did it. There are definitely some drawbacks. So some things that are kind of irritating. This backpack, transforming it into jet mode, I mean, you saw me do it. It's a little bit irritating to get it all pegged in and flat. Also, the fact that the waist articulation doesn't work when you have it configured this way, which is how the instructions show it, which is how he was intended to be transformed. That's kind of a bummer. You know, I'm not sure why maybe they, you know, my theory was they made a design change to support the combined mode. But you can alter it, you know, that I showed you that fan mode where you can alter it and still get the waist articulation, but still have that jet pack on the backpack kind of look. So, you know, that's kind of a hit and miss there. And then there's some other little things like these legs, you know, they don't really stay together that well. But all in all, I really like it. I definitely recommend it. If you are in on this set of aerial bots, then you want this for sure. I mean, you can't get the 3 limbs and not complete it, right? You got to have the rest. So I love it. I think it's a great figure. There are some things to be, you know, be cautious about how you transform him and how you articulate him. But overall, really nice figure. I highly recommend it, especially if you've got the others. But that's really it. Highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.